Welcome back to Binge in the Force, our weekly Star Wars watch party. I'm the host this week, Michael, and with us this week are Kim, Jefferson, and Erin.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
This week, we're going to be discussing Chapter 5 of Ahsoka, titled Shadow Warrior. A lot of our questions from last week get answered, not necessarily how we expected them to be answered. And anyone have anything that they want to talk about before we go ahead and jump in?
I think we should just dive in. There's one I want to talk about, but I actually need to see the episode to jog.
Yeah. There's a lot to kind of cut through on this one, so let's go ahead and jump in with Shadow Warrior.
Gotta come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
this is last week on.
Yep, our previously on. So we had previously on Ahsoka.
We had that great lightsaber duel.
Yeah, multiple lightsaber duels.
We did, and they were all very different. I liked how each character has a very different fighting style.
And then she just disappears, so we don't know where she's gone. That's Ahsoka, our main character, ostensibly. Although up to this point, it seems like it's been a Sabine show. It hasn't been an Ahsoka show,
right? But it's still her name on the.
On
the label, so they're not likely to bump her off in episode 4. And here's Baylan sweet talk.
Doesn't follow through. She can't destroy it like Ahsoka asked her to. So Baylan does.
So he does because it uploaded in 2.3 seconds after taking a long time.
Right. Yeah. It got to 75% and then did the last 25% in like 2 seconds. Yeah.
2 nanoseconds.
Like every Windows update. What do you guys?
Takes as long as it needs to take.
Yeah, it was a circular progress bar, which is new. I think software makers are going to start designing that circular progress bars, pie chart progress bars, and it'll be the same thing. It gets 75% and then zips right to the end.
Right. But he says, I have a bad feeling, but not a bad feeling about this. So it's not exactly the same.
I almost called last week's episode, I've got a bad feeling, Mom, or Mom, I've got a bad feeling.
I think it should have just nailed it. They should have just not shied away from that.
Yeah, but so she's in water. She wakes up in water. We assume it was the world between worlds and hello Snips, which is what I called last week's episode. And then here we are. So let's see where we start. Well, we start with droid heads and armored heads, and
they have like a TK, and they have the Emperor.
Yep, they've definitely been throwing in new ones.
Still, all the characters, they don't have to get likeness rights.
Right.
They own it.
Yes, they do.
I am our red forest, so we're back on the planet.
I'm curious about the colors of the helmets, though. Like they go red, blue, red, blue.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes it's red on a good guy and back and forth.
I thought you were talking about the color of the forest, that red forest, the red
that's beautiful.
The trees, yeah. I don't know where they shot this, but
Yeah, or if it's CG or what.
Yeah, probably the bulk of it is obviously in the volume, but
yeah, I know they made a big deal about how most of Andor was shot on location, but I think this is mostly being shot in that.
I think over 90% is probably all volume.
They have that studio. They should use it.
Yep.
So it's all broken.
There's our X-Wings, Kim.
I love it.
Yeah, I realized that there were more X-Wings than what I thought. I thought all of them got destroyed except for Carson.
Also, I think only two crashed into each other, and that was it.
So 3 of the 5 survived.
I really like seeing those. I like that it's a new story with new characters, but we see little bits of flavor from the original movies, like an X-Wing or a X-Wing pilot costume, and the helmets are the same. I like those little things that remind us that we're in the same world as all of those other stories.
A little cricket gun, so tiny.
Yeah, with the X-Wings, they obviously still have the lowest common bidder going on it, so why stop? They were getting a good deal on them for the rebellion.
Well, they were going through a lot of them. Yeah, I like Hera's tiny little blaster. She doesn't have anything to prove to anybody.
What she does have something to prove to is child services as to why she's bringing her child on these dangerous missions.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I have to admit, though, like this whole actually most of the episode, I kept thinking, oh God, they're going to do a kid does something stupid and gets in trouble subplot, and they didn't. And I really respect them for not falling back on that old chestnut of oh, stupid kid. Now we have to spend the whole episode rescuing him.
More internet fanboys will love that behind shot again.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have some more memes about that, I'm sure.
We love Chopper.
We do love Chopper. We don't really have, I mean, I like all the characters on this, really. I can't think of anybody who's been on this that I haven't found. I mean, the villains aren't necessarily likable, but they're all great villains, and all the hero characters are very likable.
No. I was wondering what they were going to do with him, because that's everyone had been talking about. All the speculation from last week was all like, okay, here's how everyone else is going to get to jump, into the new universe or stuff like that. Here's how Hera's going to follow them. Here's how Ahsoka's going to follow them. And no one was remembering that he was still sitting in the forest on the ship.
Well, now he's still sitting in the forest all sad.
Yeah. So I'm glad we didn't have that issue that, he's already rejoined the group,
They always forget the droid.
So
I've been really impressed by how big Huyang's part has been in the story. I was thinking cameo, when they months ago when they were talking about getting David Tennant back, I was thinking, oh, that'll be cute. He'll do like 5 lines and that'll be it. But
I just now realized 5 weeks in it's part. I was like, okay, is it episode? Is it chapter? Because with The Mandalorian, everything was chapter. It's part 5.
These are parts.
Here's
Anakin.
I like how they don't put the title on right away, and then
they've done that ever since The Mandalorian. It's like when it debuts first thing on the day, there's no title with the episode. When you click on it, it doesn't show up until like later that day or the next day.
Yeah, I noticed that for the first time yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they've done that ever since the first episode of The Mandalorian. Yeah.
He says, trust me, you lost.
The first episode of The Mandalorian had been the child, it would have been a spoiler. So
yeah,
the arms are crossed.
So she's trying to figure out where she is.
Yeah, but he's just like, you lost. Like, seriously.
So I'd like to take a moment to talk about Hayden Christensen.
Go on.
His performance in this episode is terrific. It's really good.
Yes.
And
did you get over your issue with the CGI?
Not really, but I don't think they used as much of it in this episode as they did in that first scene. And after this scene here, I don't think they're using it as much, or they're doing better with it
pretty extensively. I think
yeah, maybe, but it stops.
I think he's using throughout the entire sequence.
That may be, but I reached a point where I stopped noticing it.
Well, that's why I was wondering. I mean, you had such an issue with it. I think they're doing it for the entire time, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Watch
out. And I think
How about you, Erin?
I mean, I have no problem looking at Hayden Christensen all day long, but I do think that this is the CGI kind of adds to the idealized way that Ahsoka has him in her mind.
Yeah, it can make it work. Just that same thing that they tried to do in the Flash movie, just badly.
This is just so great and heartbreaking at the same time. It's just like she doesn't want to fight him again. But he's like,
but I mean, just the fact that for the very first time in live action, we are seeing Ahsoka and Anakin together,
and
they're fighting.
The familiar actor playing Anakin, and there's been a lot of discussion over the years of his performance in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and without getting too into it, he's especially in Attack of the Clones, he's not very good in Attack of the Clones. His performance is very flat and awkward.
Well, you can't say that because they do so many takes, and they may not have put the best one on, and it's how it's edited, and also how it's directed.
That is, Kim, that is exactly.
George Lucas says, "Okay, do it again, but faster. Okay, do it again, just not like that, but faster.
Faster, more intense." Yeah.
You just made my point for me. That is exactly my point. Is that in this he's terrific, In the movie that George Lucas directed, not so much.
Yeah, I would put the blame. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever accused that Lucas is good at directing performance. Yeah. I think even he himself would
he
not
doesn't like to. I don't think
that. I mean, that I think the performances that stand out in the prequels are by actors who didn't need him to be there as a director to direct their performance. That
you mean by actors named Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor. I mean,
you know Harrison
Natalie
Ford.
Portman. I mean, all actors who had already done other good stuff and had done it well, and didn't need the director to bring out a good performance in them. Hayden Christensen had almost no experience, and I think he needed a director to direct him to a good performance and didn't have it.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that's the other thing too, is this is 20 years later, so that's 20 more years of acting experience. But end of the day, I thought he was terrific in this, and he's utterly and completely redeemed himself.
Did you see that movie Life's a House or whatever?
Life is a House. That was one of my favorite movies.
No,
I could see him being Vader in that. His performance, it was so good.
Yeah, he can't act,
and he was young.
Yeah. So here, I mean, we've got, establishing that Hera is in trouble.
Yes.
She did disobey the orders of the council, and that does have repercussions. She could.
Jason has the Force.
Well, yeah. So just establishing that she is in trouble, but now Jason hears something that they're not hearing, and is asking her to really concentrate and see if she can hear what he's hearing. Establishing that. He does have, some force going on there.
I really wish she would have done the put her hand on her shoulder. She did that a lot on Rebels. Like she would feel Kanan. Like I really wish at that point she would have just been like, okay, I'll listen or whatever. And then that way you could see like maybe he's helping her out.
Well, I don't necessarily know though that this is supposed to be Jason is helping Hera. I think this is more so Ahsoka points out to Sabine that everyone has the ability to use the Force. Some of them stronger than others. And what that shows is that Hera believes enough to, when she can really focus and tune in, she can get it too. I don't know that Jason was helping her there. I think she heard it on her own.
Yeah, no, I think he was kind of verbally trying to get her to.
I think it was all Hera as well.
Yeah.
But I just wish, like, when she concentrates like that, she always reached for his strength.
Yes, absolutely.
Not having seen enough of the show, that would have been a cool parallel. That if that was that
would have been a Rebels little kind of Easter egg, I think.
Thing that her and Caden had that kind of physical thing going on there, that to show that she has it now with the son would be cool, but. Do you have anything left to teach me?
Yeah, there's going to be a pretty intense moment coming up.
Because I mean, she's 20 plus years older. She's has a lot more experience than when she was a student. She's been through some stuff.
She has.
So here she's falling, and then comes out of the shadow, and it's Ahsoka. But is she little?
Is she Ashley Eckstein?
No.
New costume change?
I do appreciate kind of the fog and the change in the color palette.
Yeah.
Because it's very much more a Clone Wars color
yeah.
palette that they switched to. I appreciate that her sword or her lightsaber changes colors.
Right.
I appreciate that she has clothes on and not the little tube top.
Little tube top, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That too.
She's so cute.
Yeah, I saw at least one comment that said, the main thing of Ahsoka is sending cosplayers into a frenzy.
Her headbands change in each.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely recreating her, and this I thought was really cool. Is we have never seen that outfit in live action. That we're getting to see Anakin's Clone Wars outfit because we never saw it in the movies.
No. Yeah, it's all just a cartoon.
Never saw it in the movies, but we've seen some cosplayers who've had pretty amazing ones. Like seeing them in person, I hope that those who have done these costumes feel really justified in what they came up with because they're so close.
Well, you ask any professional, costume designer, for film and television will tell you cosplayers outfits are generally better than what they produce, because what they produce only has to look good on screen, and it doesn't have to look good in a 360-degree environment where people can walk up to you and look at it closely. So most cosplayers' costumes are going to be much better than the actual screen-worn outfits.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, the amount of outfits that only have to look good from like waist up, because that's all they're shooting. And, you know, the costumes where like the cosplayer has to figure out what were they wearing under their waist.
Yeah, they're wearing flip-flops.
Right. Or isn't that the famous thing about Tarkin in the original movie, is that his boots were uncomfortable, and so he was wearing slippers most of the time?
Interesting. And so so we're basically in a now I don't know enough Clone Wars to know, is this a specific episode of Clone Wars that they're basically inserted into here?
Not a specific episode. Well, it is. It's a specific battle. It's one of the very first where Ahsoka really realizes that this is a life and death thing that she's doing.
Okay, so it's not the movie though.
We'll see Ryloth here coming up, because we see Twi'leks on either side, and then of course we'll see additional battles after that. I think that first battle.
Don't look at me.
I couldn't tell you the specific episode.
I've skipped in those, and I've kind of bounced around both.
Jeff named him. Rebels. Jeff named him, but I don't remember.
But I mean, I love like that it's got her headpiece, you know, that she had in the Clone Wars series. You know, she's definitely recreated here. And her outfits and Anakin's outfits. I mean, Anakin's hair, his outfit. And there's no way that he's not CGI de-aged here. I think they just did it really, really well.
Yeah.
Secret side note to Rex right there. There's Rex.
Yeah, that's what
with the two pistols. Yeah, I spotted that.
Yep.
Yeah, although they purposely like the downed trooper like has its face covered so that we don't have to, you know, de-age that actor.
Yeah.
Right. No, this is, I think, one of the first or the last battles of season 1 of Clone Wars.
That's what I was wondering, because again, I've skipped around too much to really have a sense of where in the series it was.
Because she only has, I believe, the one lightsaber here.
Well, yeah.
So how old is she here about?
It's going to be 13, 14.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
Which...
Well, they do that in the Star Wars universe. They have 14-year-old girls running the government.
True. Yeah, I guess so.
And I'm not saying that that's a bad idea necessarily, you know?
No, but to put any 14-year-old child in the middle of a battle like this.
Yeah. Well, but again, with Jedi, we know they take them at birth, and you know, she's been training. She's been with the Jedi. Literally, we saw the episode where they handed the baby over to the Jedi. So,
well,
that doesn't mature you.
Yeah, this conversation they're having right now is about her not being ready for this.
Yeah, absolutely. The actress is amazing here.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was young Gamora.
You know who she is?
She was also in the Barbie movie, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know name offhand, but yeah, she was definitely young Gamora.
I'm surprised you did it, Michael.
No.
I was told there was no research for this, Kim. So.
Yeah.
No, but Michael usually knows all the actors, what they've been in before, and
I didn't look up her. I hadn't had a chance. I just know that I thought both actresses, both of the younger Ahsoka actresses here, I thought were great. But this girl particularly, I thought was really good. What was she in the Barbie movie?
Didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the actual movie. I just know the actress has been in both.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I've seen the Barbie movie twice.
Barbie movie is on the list.
Definitely must see.
Definitely a must see, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, no question. But yeah, the lightsaber change, definitely a demarcation point to age it within the series. I mean, because it's definitely before she got her two white sabers.
I love
and of course, that little flash there.
Vader
walking away, flash into Vader.
She doesn't know if she wants to follow.
Like, from a white saber to a red saber.
Well, she was just told in the previous episode that her legacy is death and destruction.
Yeah.
So this is going all through her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she's watching this.
And everything he is, she is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and he talked about the legacy of from master to master, you know.
That would be cause for concern.
Yeah.
Definitely a moment of pause.
Yeah. I think definitely this series is the conveyance to get her from her first appearance in The Mandalorian to her later appearance in her later appearance in Book of Boba Fett. So I think who she is between then is definitely going to get seen here.
Here's Carson.
Yeah,
How
many more times you want to do this? We're wasting fuel. What are you doing?
He's the voice of pragmatism.
Yep.
Oh man, he's great later too.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder. I think we could assume that he probably would have been prominent in the whatever it was going to be called, the something of the New Republic.
Right, the Rangers of the New Republic.
Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, probably, but
yeah,
they're finding stuff for him to do.
Oh yeah, but missed opportunity.
I don't think they're going to have any trouble filling our screens with more Star Wars material.
He's adapted very quickly to being her co-pilot there,
right.
Going from Ahsoka's co-pilot to Hera's there. I mean, he's got 500 years. I'm sure he's adapted to a lot of things.
He's like, I'm surprised they authorized this. Oh, no, we didn't do that. Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Yeah, she may not be a general for much longer.
Yeah.
I
like the robot's character a lot.
Yeah,
he's sort of like
up to him a little,
and he gets people. He knows people. It's like you do things because you care. That's why people like you.
His personality is great. He's kind of the midpoint between C-3PO and K2SO from Rogue One. Yeah. He's not as fussy as 3PO, but he's not as sarcastic as K2SO.
Yeah,
he's kind of in that middle.
Well, he had to have the patience to teach 500 years worth of Jedi how to build lightsabers. So, that was his job with the Jedi Order.
Yeah. So. I did start watching that episode. That's him showing the younglings how to do that, and I only got a couple minutes into it so far, but I got to where he's showing them, and like right before the ship gets attacked, before they're about to get captured or something. But I like this pairing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they worked well together. Chopper, hello. As low as you can.
I did not notice until this episode that the dots on the symbol on her, kind of jacket there, when we see other New Republic officers later, that's basically ranking.
Yeah.
So he's like a 5.
Those are rank badges.
And we see like 2s and 3s later. So I'd never caught that until this episode. And now she's got the 2 lightsabers. Now she's older.
And she's just badass and
in a different outfit.
Well,
Darth Maul, Mando.
Same actress, or is it an older actress?
Same actress.
I think it's the same actress.
Okay.
Yeah. Just moving a lot more.
Yeah, because this is now Siege of Mandalore, right?
Yeah, I got excited when I saw her fighting those Mandalorian commandos. I thought we were going to get to see Darth Maul too.
Yeah. What's wrong here?
Oh no, it's Rex.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there goes Rex.
A little verklempt. You guys have your topic. I was so excited to see the 332nd troopers in here in live action. Like, those hold such a special place in what Ahsoka was at the end of Clone Wars.
She's got the arms already.
Yeah, I told you.
She may be a teenager, but she's got the arms down.
Yeah.
This was the Siege of Mandalore.
Now we see where she got it from.
Right, we see where she got the arms from.
The fact that Anakin doesn't know this battle is key in my theory on where Ahsoka actually is.
Yeah.
Go.
She's not in the world between worlds. This is their version of, you see the white light, are you going to walk towards it or not?
Yeah.
This is all in her head.
We spent a week last week. We've all spent a week speculating, and the answer to the speculation is, that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, no, she's not talking to the real Anakin. She's talking
fighting
to
with herself.
Yeah.
Well, Luke had that. I mean, they all do that, and they're all afraid they're going to turn to the dark side. So,
yeah, this is all an internal kind of battle for her and her questioning herself, which you should do.
Right.
Well, I think in all of them, she was closest to Anakin. Luke wasn't. I mean, like,
he didn't know him at all.
The largest internal struggle between, am I dark side? Am I following the path I'm meant to follow?
Yep. Am I my master? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If my master taught me, and he went that way, am I destined to go that way?
And then she's little, and he's still gonna try to kick her butt. And I'm like, or die. And I'm like, no, she's gonna die if that's the case.
But now his face is much meaner. You know, we've got the red lightsaber.
He's got the red eyes. Got the
Look
scar.
at his fighting style changes too. Look at the way it's just brute force now. It's just
well, and it's his style in episode 3. It's his style after he becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's his style because he's so powerful. He doesn't need finesse. He doesn't need to know any.
And they showed that. I mean, that's right out of episode 3. I mean, there's a distinct difference from Anakin to Darth Vader once he makes that mental change.
So I'm so happier that she went back to her real current date.
It's not gonna be him beating up a teenager.
I was like, oh my god.
Well, and it's nice to get to see these two actors.
Yeah, the fact that visually they're actually showing the distinct difference in his style there.
Yeah.
And hers.
I really noticed that when I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
And then his eyes.
Yeah, she's no longer fighting Anakin. She's now fighting Darth Vader.
Yeah, and she sees it. She's like, oh my god.
Yeah, because I mean, he was Darth Vader when he killed the younglings. He was Darth Vader before the battle with.
So she's like, wait a minute. And now she shows him, I can go dark too.
I can go dark, but I have to face the same moment that Luke
it.
ends up fighting. You know, the same moment that Luke ended up facing, where it's like, I am a Jedi like my father before me.
Yeah,
I choose to live. That's her version of it.
Yeah.
I choose light.
And he backs off.
And now here comes Darth Vader. He's peeing his pants. He's like,
well, if we want to get into the symbolism, this is all of her self-doubt.
Right. Yeah.
Fading away.
Yeah, it's her struggling with her own, place in the universe.
Well, she's spent since she was basically expelled from the Jedi Order, trying to find a place again, but not
what am I?
That she could train, she could teach. There was a line earlier about teaching.
Yeah, because that's her struggle right now, since she's taken on an apprentice.
Sabine, and
what does that mean for her? If her master turned evil and she's his apprentice and she's carrying on that tradition, that legacy, what does that mean for her training another Jedi? And of course, her having said for years now, I'm not a Jedi, but she's chosen to train someone. What does that mean? And it's all her internal struggle.
And then this is really cool. The water starts going up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're back at water now. So instead of that background,
and you're like, what?
Yeah, what the heck's going on here? We spent all that time last week.
I'm like, she's gonna drown.
We spent 20 minutes discussing it on World Within Worlds, and people arguing and debating for a week about what it means and what's going to happen and what's Anakin and all this stuff that we as Star Wars fans like to really get into. And that's just not the story that he's telling here.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's very rarely about those kind of nitty gritty fan person, details that we love to get enmeshed in and everything. And
I heard it.
It was just all a near-death experience. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I heard it described really well. It was years ago. I was at a convention and I was watching a panel with a bunch of editors from Dark Horse Comics, and they weren't talking about Star Wars. They were talking about, I think they were talking about their Aliens versus Predator series. But the editor made a very good point, which is that most fans want them to write Wikipedia articles. They don't actually want stories, and they're not interested in doing that. They're interested in doing stories.
Yeah, that's just the whole technical details and getting into what it means and the everything. And that's just not the story Filoni's telling here. He's telling a story about people and emotions, and it was all a near-death experience. It was just all her emotional struggle with her while she was drowning, basically.
Right.
Cam, I am going to ask a question. Can you swim in those boots?
What about the ejection straps? You can't even walk upstairs in those things.
They're ninja tabbies, so can ninja swim? I don't know.
I'm like, at least take your chest box off or something.
Oh, no. That's hardcore.
Oh, you're talking about the X-Wing pilot.
X-Wing pilot.
Yeah, they jumped in and got her. Like, you could have stripped down a couple of things.
But the pilot was tied to a rope.
True, but still,
is
that the smartest gear to be wearing when you actually go into the water?
Well, it's what they had. They were in a hurry.
But yeah, same thing with that character who, I kept going M name because it now doesn't matter.
Right.
All the weeks spent of speculation by fans of what that character means and what is it? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it this character, that character, the ghost of this character? Like, nah, it doesn't matter. It was just a thing, and it got killed.
How about anything that starts with an M? You just start not paying attention to.
This I thought was cool. It's the first time we see live action her without a headpiece. So like the makeup artist had to work extra hard because that the whole purpose of having the headpiece is to not have to worry about those edges there and those seams. So
right.
I appreciate the transition too of the sunlight waking her.
Yeah.
And just the light reaching her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that it's very not to go Gandalf on this, but it's very much the same as when we first see Gandalf after he falls.
Gandalf
very
the White,
yeah. It's very reminiscent.
Yeah, she's made the choice to the light.
Well, and then she starts wearing white.
I know.
Yeah, you're right. I had made that connection. I had not made that connection on her wearing white, but yes, there's definitely a Gandalf the White thing going on there. He died Gandalf the Gray. He came back as Gandalf the White. She died as Ahsoka with doubts, and now she's, presumably going to be Ahsoka who has chosen her side.
Well, and that's what we see at the end of Rebels is Ahsoka in white, and so everyone's been wondering where she's been, and now we're kind of getting how she gets to that point, because that Ahsoka in white was Filoni's vision of her at the end of Rebels.
Interesting. And I don't remember reading anything about it, but I'd be shocked if Filoni was not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone creating in sci-fi fantasy who doesn't liberally steal from the themes and the elements, because there's so many universal themes and elements in the story. So
at very least have a healthy respect for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've got Jason and the droid playing. Kids and droids playing.
I have to reiterate, I mentioned this already, but I have to reiterate how they managed to completely avoid any eye-rolling kid moments.
Yeah. He is not Wesley Crusher. There is no Wesley Crusher.
Exactly. He's not, precisely. And I thought that was great. I don't generally tend to like kid characters for that reason, because they tend to save the really bad cliches for child characters, but they completely failed to fall back on any of those in this, which I thought was really impressive.
Here it was essential to have someone who was more force sensitive to know that she was out there, that she was basically out there dying. And not only did he know that she was out there drowning, but he could sense the inner turmoil that she was going through in the force. I mean, what was going on in her head emotionally.
More importantly, the adults listen to him.
Conversation we can't avoid. You taught Jedi, right? Will you teach me? No. Will you show me how to build a lightsaber? No.
But no, I like that they take Jason seriously. They don't say, shut up, kid, you don't know anything." And that's you hardly ever see that in this kind of thing.
I guess this would be my one little pet peeve, that they went through the whole entire scene word for word right here. But that'd be like very nitpicky.
Oh, you're talking about the flashback here? Yeah. This bugged me big time, because in terms of storytelling here, I mean, we've seen this scene. We've seen the episode. And so to have an entire scene, several minutes of just watching her standing there, sensing stuff, feeling stuff. I mean, like, we've seen it. It doesn't do anything for us story-wise. It doesn't move the story at all. I mean, you could have her just walk up there and then turn and go.
Like a couple of flashes.
Yeah, or just something. I mean,
and then,
have her just stand there and we just look at her while she's experiencing
that she got it.
And then we're hearing stuff that we already saw last week. Just from a directing, from a storytelling standpoint, it's just a waste of several minutes to me.
I mean, from a costumer standpoint, you get all the angles of this costume and it's headband.
True. So, but I mean, the same thing would have been accomplished by her just saying, "Here's the answer."
Right.
We know it's happening in her head anyway.
Yeah.
So we could, instead of being from her point of view, we could have been from Hera's point of view and have it be she walks up there, she pauses a second, then she turns and goes, "Okay, here's the answer."
Right.
We should have taken the audience's point of view, which is Hera's point of view here, and that should have been a 2-second scene instead of a 1.5-minute scene. But We criticize the thing we criticize the thing we love.
Sure. Yes. And if that's all you've got, then I think they're doing pretty well.
That's what I'm saying. That and that it wasn't 10 hours long. That's just
right. Yeah, it was a waste of a minute and a half of screen time that just should have been 2 seconds of screen time. But it's still Star Wars.
It could be that reiterating the point of that, the pieces of that scene is going to be important in the future. I can't imagine Filoni would even spend a minute of this not telling something precisely.
Yeah. Trust the Filoni.
Yeah, she's like, I'll deal with this. I don't know if you're going to deal with this, lady.
So I guess Ahsoka season 2 is going to be the jailbreak. They have to bust Hera out of prison because she's doing this.
Right.
Well, I think we'll get to where, I mean, she, everything that she says does get justified and just get proven. So I think she's going to come out of it okay,
sure.
But not until, but it can't be a tell. It has to be a show. So,
Yeah, and there's I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but they're sort of steering us in a direction of the New Republic is making all the same mistakes that the Old Republic made in terms of creating this big, unfeeling bureaucracy that is totally ineffective.
I mean, I think that's how we get to episode 7.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Exactly. And so here, oh my God, this is just so amazing. When she sees those, like, all right, I have an idea. But like this episode is just all Ahsoka and no Sabine. And I think next week will probably be Sabine's side, what's going on while they're doing this. But I love Carson.
Yeah,
and I love
my inclination was that the episode title is somewhere going to be along the lines of, yes, this is actually an Ahsoka series. You know? That this episode, for the first time, 5 chapters in, or five episodes or whatever, that this episode was an Ahsoka episode. Fine.
They're just trying to make you happy, Michael.
Yeah. They hear you and they respond.
They responded quickly. This has been in the can too. They're suspending you.
You're going to need to hear her. We're going to need her testimony. Yeah, it's like, I don't think testimony is going to do it. I don't think just saying what was the situation is going to help, because it's like, do you have the prisoner? No.
Right.
Do you have any proof of what they did? No. Do you have anyone to back up anything that you're saying? No.
And who is she to them anyway? Why would the senators care what Ahsoka has to say particularly?
Well, I mean, she is a respected member of the Jedi Order.
Sure. Well, except she's not.
I don't know that the Senate cares about that. I don't know
exactly.
That the Senate has that kind of respect for the Jedi.
But Mon Mothma might.
Mon Mothma would, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Throughout the Clone Wars, Mon Mothma was there.
But I think the scene from last week shows that Mon Mothma, even as the head of the council, only has so much power. There is now a Senate again, and that Senate means contention, and that means other voices who have dissenting opinions again.
Right.
I think since her purse strings also funds this, I think she should have a little bigger say in what goes on.
Yeah, I'm sure they're in a hurry not to repeat the empire that they just toppled.
But Ahsoka
way too much power
is now a totally different character than she was before that near-death experience.
She looks lighter.
She's lighter. She's smiling. This is not her entire characterization,
Yeah, more serene.
She's sitting up more. I mean, she just seems...
Now I can't get it out of my head. She's Ahsoka the White. Thank you, Erin. That's never going to
be When was the end of Rebels? Many years.
Many.
Space whales. I'm never going to stop being space whales.
Space calamari.
The space whales are pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone for the last
Space Forces.
Yeah, everyone for the last week has been saying that she was going to get there because she's in the world within worlds and she could exit that and then she'll be on the other side of the galaxy. I'm like, no.
That's kind of what I thought. She could have, and then I thought Hera and the
was going to get there through the space whale
with the Purgles.
Yep.
And then everybody would be there, but it's just her. And Hera has to deal with the Senate, and I wonder if we're going to see any of that, or if we're just going to see the outcome of that.
Yeah.
Kind of hope we don't see a whole lot of political.
I don't think it's necessary. I think the scenes that are coming up here, where the Republic cruisers actually see the space whales and encounter the space whales, I think it covers the subject. I think it establishes Hera's, bona fides for her story at that point. So,
yeah, Hera fighting with the Senate doesn't sound like a very interesting subplot to me.
No, that sounds like a George Lucas moment from episode 1.
Yeah. Only faster and more intense.
Faster, more intense.
I mean, we know that Dave Filoni's main purpose in life is to fix Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know? Is to right the wrongs of Star Wars. And he's so good at it.
Done a wonderful job.
He does seem to get it.
You can't forget about John either.
No.
That's good show.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, he's obviously involved in this, but this episode was written and directed by Dave Filoni.
Yeah, this one is clearly Dave's show more so than maybe The Mandalorian or Boba Fett.
Yeah, The Mandalorian is definitely more Jon Favreau, and you know, this is 100% a continuation of Rebels and Clone Wars. So we've got the Republic cruisers coming to basically arrest Hera, and probably the X-wing pilots who listen to her,
right? Or at the very least, give them a very stern talking to,
right? But now we put Carson in the position of having to basically talk their way into keeping basically.
Identify yourself.
Yeah,
we're like the same team.
We just need them.
We work
to
in the same office. You should know me.
Didn't I see you at the Christmas party last year?
Yeah.
I do like it when they use.
Where's Hera?
Hacky sack at the picnic.
Yeah, exactly.
Picnic.
His whole bureaucratic trying to he knows how the Republic works. He knows how the military works. You know.
That's one of the things I like about Carson as a character is he knows how to play the game.
Yep. We've always seen him on the other side of this. We've seen
where he's talking to someone else.
Yeah, we've seen the Mandalorian trying to get out of situations like this, or other people talking their way out of situations. Now it's him being on the other side. Now he's in that role of being with the superior
the tractor beam.
Yeah, trying to tap dance verbally out of a situation here,
or talk himself out of getting a ticket.
But she's only a 2 dot, and he's protecting a 5 dot.
Yeah.
And then the guy behind her is a 1 dot. Like I said, this is a new revelation. The rest of you may have known this all the
there's always ranks. So there's ranks in Rogue
never
One
had
too,
noticed
and they're just different. The badges and
the
ones like Jason's there. Those are the old Empire type rank badges. They all have them.
Interesting. I never noticed it till this episode. I'd seen her badge before, and I thought it was like the Purina symbol. Yeah.
Dice.
She's a 5.
5 by 5.
They're just the other thing I noticed, comment here, in Star Wars, have we ever seen ships stand still in an atmosphere like that?
No.
Why not?
Ships have always been moving.
They're always moving.
Yeah. I do not believe we have ever seen Star Wars ships with that form of propulsion. Yeah, Erin's really thinking about it because she knows this stuff way better than I do. You know, I don't remember ever seeing ships just holding still like that.
Well, we've never needed to.
Well, I mean,
the first time they needed one to stand still. So. Yeah. And that's what they needed for this scene. So now they can do that.
Right.
But Huang's really trying to make it happen.
Yeah, because that type of propulsion, those types of engines, we've only ever seen them in motion.
Yeah, but this is a great scene, and them sitting down and going, well, we can't do the scene this way because ships don't sit still. That would be a dumb reason not to do the scene.
I agree completely. I 100% agree completely. It's the emotion of the scene. And her smiling and just standing there serenely and coolly on the ship like that. It's just such a cool thing.
Yeah.
She is. I mean, the performance is so distinct that that she's now a new character.
Just a lot was lifted off of her.
Yeah,
she knows she can do it now. I think she proved to herself.
And then Jonah's heading right into the whale. I'm surprised Yang did not protest more about this.
Yeah, and it's weird that they're turning around to where the engines will be towards the.
I don't think we've ever seen Star Wars ships move like this before.
They're just.
I may be wrong because again, I'm not the best technical Star Wars fan, so I'm not the person to be relied on for this stuff. But I just don't remember Star Wars ships ever moving like this before.
I guess the only time that I could think of where something similar happened was when they rescue Luke from the bottom of Cloud City.
And the Falcon
the Falcon comes up.
And then he goes down.
Yeah, and it was a lot windier for that scene.
Yeah.
That's true, and we have seen the Falcon like kind of lift up similarly to that. So,
of course, we've never seen.
I was surprised that Hera doesn't come. I mean, that's
I was too.
I think it's good because again, the series is called Ahsoka.
Yeah,
it is not Rebel season 5.
I mean, we did threaten to call Child Protective Services, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
just flee out of the way.
So the line is this galaxy. She could put him in danger in this galaxy. She just can't put him in danger in another galaxy.
Yeah.
It's like taking somebody over state lines. You do
yeah.
Custody agreement. You can't do it.
I like it. It works. Yep. But yeah, I think this flyby here, I think the amazement, the experience of these Republic commanders, having this, I think it clears Hera at that point. I think this is enough evidence that sure. This is a real thing going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Carson's like, you're not gonna believe me.
Yeah, it's like I can tell you.
Here we go.
I can tell you exactly what's been happening for the last 4 episodes, but you're not gonna believe me.
There goes the big one.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't notice the eye before, the blinking eye.
Yeah, there's flickers of like a very blue. As they get closer to
you can see
now you can see them start to power up,
firing up their hyperdrives.
Looks like they're about to jump.
Farscape did this first though.
Jason's too young to travel between galaxies. Yeah.
Got to be at least 48 inches. 14.
You must be
to rule the galaxy.
Must be this tall to leave this galaxy.
Right. That would have been, I think it would have diluted the story too much to have Hera and Jason in the second.
I like it. I agree. It's supposed to be Ahsoka.
Right. So far they've been right on that line of having too much going on, but now hopefully they're going to focus
directly.
And then it ends and you're like, no, I need 30 more
by Dave Filoni.
Something.
Created by Dave Filoni.
A movie, like how amazing it would have been just to sit in the theater for.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, and they did. They put it into theaters, but like in 9 cities, and we were not one of them.
And not here. Yeah.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah, I don't think they did it here either.
Yeah, no, it was only like 8 or 9 cities, and it was like none of the ones that I would have a chance of getting to.
Yeah, why don't they think of us ever?
Yeah.
I know.
Denver's big.
Hey, Denver was the first.
And that too. They should always think of us first.
And I still think I still like these credits, but it is definitely Game of Thrones.
Yeah, a little bit.
In a good way. I mean, the music to it. I mean, when you're listening to the music to it and the visual, it's very Game of Thrones, which is not a bad thing.
No.
Someone on a podcast was talking about how it actually goes through the galaxy and shows all the planets. It's
right, and that's what Game of Thrones did. Is every episode like you had to actually watch it because it was going to tell you what locations you were going to in the episode. It was actually important.
Maybe this does too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've not been sitting and watching through the whole thing, and I didn't with Game of Thrones either. I know it did it, but I didn't like watch it every single week to know exactly where we're going to go. I'm like, let the story just happen.
Yeah, it just didn't actually matter that much.
Yeah. So, wow. It is an Ahsoka series.
It is.
But the things that we think are important are not necessarily the things that are important,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Interestingly, I like it better than I thought I did last night.
Yeah.
I'm more okay with it not having been the world within worlds. I'm more okay with, in the end. Well, okay. I was going to say it not meaning anything, but it does. And honestly, actually, it's what you pointed me to, Erin. It's that it's Ahsoka the White. that revelation to me now has me looking at this episode in a whole new light and a whole new way. And I'm liking the near death sequence because initially when I watched it last night, I was annoyed. I was like, all of that and all that speculation, all that discussion and all that stuff of what it could be. And I'm like, it was just a near death experience. And now we're just moving on. I mean, but now rewatching it and getting my brain past that, I'm like, okay, now watching her, how she is, who she is after that experience totally changed the tone of it for me. So
it's deep, and it cut me last night. Like I was in tears on the couch. My husband has seen key episodes of Clone Wars and Rebels. I have watched every episode of Clone Wars and Rebels
that's me too,
so many times.
I've tried to bounce around and see key episodes, but that's about where I am. So
and when you're watching this, like every little piece had meaning. Like, and it was just, I don't know.
There's a reason for rewatches because I totally did not have that experience last night. I went into this thinking that I was going to be more angry about this episode than I was on the rewatch.
You're going to piss me off.
Having you guys watching it together and not just watching it by myself, I now am loving this episode.
Yeah, you get a different perspective.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to me, that's at least part of the point of why we're doing this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's definitely definitely a 10 for 10 on my part. Like I messaged so many of the folks here in Denver and was like, did you see it? Did you see it? Okay, I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. And then you got to tell me what you think. Like we were having conversations until 11.
Oh, wow.
Over
everyone I've seen today want to do that with people on Facebook. I've said, join my show. Come on this show and let's discuss it there. Don't waste it in a Facebook conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some processing to it. I was also reminiscing with my husband about had this been a broadcast television show, everyone would have been done at the same time. And so I could have called those people right away and had that conversation. And I was like, curses.
Yeah.
I would have killed to have like just a huge watch party. I'm so sad that they didn't pick Denver as one of those places where we could have all seen this together.
That would have been so amazing.
I wouldn't have been able to hold back the tears because it's kind of like when you're with your people, things feel like you feel more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I was just watching it by myself. Was two in my head, but I still think it's better to watch it once, and not with a group and not with the whole thing. I think a second watch is still the best way, the best venue for that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to watch anything for the first time the way we watch it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have been able to handle it, but
because you wouldn't know what was going on.
We watched it twice. We turned it right back on the minute the credits were over and watched it again. And then I had to see the eyes again because I didn't know, was it a reflection? And, she was, or did her eyes go there? And so that third watch, I'm like, oh, it's her. It's all her.
Wow. Any last thoughts about it?
Perfection.
I mean, we don't even know where we're going next week. I mean, that's the thing. Next week is now a complete blank page. I mean, we know that half of our story has gone to this other place. Another half of our story is now going to another place. It may be the same place. We don't know. Like Hu Yang asked, is like, how do we know that the whale knows to take us to the right place? We don't.
Yeah.
We're trusting in the Purgle. We're trusting in the Force.
But I do think the next episode will be Baylan, Shin, Morgan, and we probably won't see Ahsoka. And
she'll turn up at the end.
Or maybe not at all. Like,
could be, yeah. It's what was happening to them in the day or two that this all took place, and so then she shows up.
B-side,
right?
B-side.
Yeah, the B story.
Okay, well, we will reconvene for that next time. And thanks for joining, Jefferson, Kim, and Erin. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. And everyone, like us and subscribe at Binging the Force on YouTube. If you want to listen to this as a podcast in the car when you're running, look for us on any podcast clients as Binging the Force. If you want to watch this live when we do it, join us on Facebook on Binging the Force. We're also on Twitch. I don't put that on the screen here, but you can actually watch us live when we do this on Facebook at Binging the Force and Twitch Binging the Force. But if you only watch this after the fact, like which is the majority of people, like and subscribe because that really helps us on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you. Good night, nerds.
Night.